guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Where did March go? I can't believe we're in April. I feel like March just went whoosh, right before my eyes. Like 1 minute it was the beginning of March, schools were back open, my daughter was going back to school. Next minute it was Mother's Day, and then it went into my mum's birthday, and then it ended. I don't know where it went. These past 3 months for me have gone past really fast. But we're in April, we're in a new month, which means it's a new TBR, but also my shielding is up. I have been shielding for the past year, on and off, but it's mainly been a year. And as much as I'm an introvert and don't really do much, it's just nice to know that I can go out now and just pop to the shops and not just have an hour walk. I can actually go out and do things if I want to. So it's a relief. I'm glad, and I hope it stays like that, because I don't think I can cope with any more shielding. But yeah, we're in a new month. My shielding's up. We've got a new TBR, so let's get straight into what my TBR and what's going to be in it and all of that jazz. So, before we get into the Go Fish TBR game, I have a few books that are already set TBRs, so I wanted to show those ones first. So first book, we have got Black Winds Beating by Alex London. This is for Fays and Gays book club. I don't know much about this book, apart from I think it's to do with falcons, stuff like that. But I do know it's fantasy, and I do know that it is like what Fays and Gays book club is for, LGBTQI representation. So I'm really excited to read this. I am going in blind with this book. To be honest, I am going to continue going into blind with this book, because I think it's going to be one of those ones that I'm just going to enjoy regardless if I know what it's about or not. And then we have these books, which are for random things tours. So we got Vanished by James DeLargy. I cannot for the life of me remember what this is about. There's going to be a theme here, but it says they wanted to escape, now they've vanished. And so the Kane family, Lorcan, Diana and their young son relocate from Perth to Kylie, an abandoned mine town in the Great Victoria Desert, to start over again, free from the checkered past. Oh yeah, the town seems like a perfect getaway. It's peaceful, quiet, remote. Somewhere they won't be found, but they soon find that it's not as straightforward as they hope, because there are mysterious shadows and tracks in the dust, as if the town is coming back to life. But the family won't leave. No one can talk sense into them, and now no one can talk to them at all. They have simply vanished. It's up to Detective Emmeline Taylor to find them before it's too late. It's a crime thriller. We like crime thrillers. There's nothing more to say. It's a crime thriller. Can you stay? Can you stay? We have got another one for Random Thing Tours, which is Blue Mantle by Karen Langston. This is a dystopian book. I love dystopian books. They are books that I love, but I don't read a lot of, because I get extremely obsessed over them, to the point where I Google these things to see whether it could actually happen. I love them, but I do get obsessed. So this is basically live music is outlawed. So a big, massive, like wormhole type. Basically, there is a thing that happens a few years before where a massive big chunk of their city goes funk for what they don't know what reasons, and with that this becomes a massive big authority control, and their law is that live music or anything to do with music is forbidden, and if they participate in live music or anything to do with music, the punishment for participating is severe. And basically follow this character called Chase, who discovers his sister is missing, and so searching for his sister, he comes to a underground music scene which is with this, and it's called the Troubadours, and they risk their lives to perform stuff underground for their survival because they obviously live on music. And to do this, they rely on Blue Mantle, which I'm not 100% sure what it is, we'll find out in the book. But there is a leader called Governor Blix, and she's got a chief in command called Wolfin, and they find out about the Troubadours in this underground music scene, and so they decide they are going to go and destroy it. So there's this whole big story of that. There's also trying to find his missing sister. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely love dystopian books, so you know, I like dystopian books. We've just said that so many times. Next we've got Dark Matter by Rick Jagoski. Again, this is with Random Things Book Tours, and this I think is a mixture of like psychological thriller and like loss and like the meaning of loss and love. I'm going in blind again with this. I do know that it's about James Dark, who is dreading the first family Christmas without his wife Susie. He's engulfed by grief and all of this malarkey, and someone keeps knocking at his door, and then he's soon obliged to examine the painful circumstances of his wife's death. So yeah, it's to do with loss and love. Like obviously I'm thinking it will go like what went on in Susie's life when she was alive, and probably what's gone on with how she's died. Is it him? Isn't it him? We'll see. It's another crime thriller. Another crime thriller, and also with Random Things Book Tours, is Repentance by Eloisa Diaz. The Past is Not Dead. This is not my usual sort of book I would go for, purely because it's two different timelines. It's 1981 and then it's 20 years later, and it's in a country, so it's in Buenos Aires, and it's the brutal military dictatorship of Argentina, which is 1981, and it's about Inspector Joaquin Alzadas. I'll soon work out how to pronounce all this. He's in the Buenos Aires police force to expose like people. It's very long-winded, it's too hard to get into, so I won't, but it's not my typical pick, and I'm not sure whether I'll enjoy it or not, but I'm going to give it a go, and I might be surprised and loved it. It's sort of based in two different time zones, which sometimes work for me, sometimes confuse me, and just because it's sort of a bit political, I'm not sure whether I'll enjoy it, but I'm happy to try new things, and I might be surprised and absolutely love it, so find out later to see whether that happens. Then we've got Love Book Tours. So we've got Crowned Worthy, which is by L.G. Jenkins, and this is another dystopian book, but it's more of a like technology type dystopian sort of book, so I'll read what it's about. It'll probably make more sense. So it says, so it's a Merit Hunter series, so it is a series. This is the first book of the series, and it basically says progress is strength. AJ Ambers is the perfect pseudo citizen. His climbing merit score, prestigious job, and a host of merit-making friends all help him get closer to the glorified quarters, home to the most worthy in Tulo. With a glorified born girlfriend at his side and a natural talent for technology, AJ happily settles into the life of success and ambition without the fear of becoming unworthy. However, as the true brutality of the system takes hold, will that fear ultimately destroy him? This is a new dystopian book series. This novel explores themes of success, work, and relationships in a society controlled by technology, and a demonstration of each person's worth. So like I said, this is going to be very techno-dystopian, but it is like massive writing. It sounds brilliant. I actually saw the book trailer, like the video book trailer of this, and I was like, oh my god, this looks really good. So I'm excited for this, and I think this is a debut novel of hers as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I also have, and I actually just received it today to show you, I also got Allied which is book 2 of the is it going to tell me what series it is? Because I can't remember what the series is. No, it's not. Hunted. So the first book was Hunted, and I read it and I loved it. I can't remember what rating I gave it. It was between 4 or 5. So this is about a family of vampires and then vampire hunters. And so Edith and her vampire family in the first book, basically they have this thing of how they get humans to join the vampire family. So she's only turned 2 or 3 people, and she hasn't turned that many vampires because she's not into doing that, but she has 2 girls that she turns, and she's now claimed as her daughters because of various reasons you find out in the first book. And so she has got a vampire family, but she very rarely turns people. But in the first book they sort of have this like game where you choose whether you're going to be humans or whether you're going to be vampires. You have to read the first book to understand, but basically in the first book there were 2 people. One was a vampire hunter, definitely, and the other one was a vampire hunter trainer who actually really who's in love with one of the vampires. And long story short, Edith, which is the main vampire, falls in love with Darren, who's a vampire hunter. They fall in love and they get found out, and she then gets exiled from her clan, and the person who turned her isn't very nice, basically. So she gets run away, and something happens to Darren, and so in this book they're now trying to find their way back to each other, but doing so costs her family and her life and other people's lives. It's a really short book. This will be done in pretty much probably an hour or 2, because it's very fast paced, but it left on a cliffhanger in book 1. So when I saw that this tour was coming up for book 2, obviously I had to pick it up because I need to know what happens. And it is actually a series, so there is book 3, which is Fated, so I'm sure I'm going to have to read that one too. So we've got that, and then I've also got Ravenous Snakes, which is book 2 of, I can't remember what it's called now, Chameleons, there we are, which is by Gold. So Chameleons, I gave 4 stars. It was, at first it seemed to be a romance book, and then it turned into a massive thriller. So there were some flaws with it. However, there was a massive it wasn't a cliffhanger, it was a massive thing happened, and I was like, ooh. And I didn't realise that it was going to be a series. And so when the invite came out to say Ravenous Snakes, which was book 2, I was like, oh, okay, how's that work? Because technically in book 1 it ended to the point where you wouldn't particularly need another book. You could, but you didn't have to. But there is a book 2, so it's a few years ahead of what happened in the first book. Basically, it says it on the book, so it's not really spoiler, but yeah, basically one of the lead characters in this is pregnant, and you think it's all happy, but what happened in book 1 has actually come back. It's really hard to explain this because I don't want to spoil it and give spoilers. Basically, something happens in book 1 and you think that person is dead, but I'm not sure whether it is dead and whether he's actually now going back to come find her. Not sure. Yeah. Once I've read the book, I will hopefully can tell you what it's about without giving away spoilers. But I'm really excited because, like I said, it wasn't the best of books. It got confusing, and there were some bits where I was like, what the hell? This is just not normal. But yeah, from what I've heard what book 2's about, I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued. So yeah, I have one more book, sorry. I have one more book, which is called, The Facts and Legends of Kylie Catwell, which is Sophia de Rise. I will put the thing up there too, because it's on Kindle as well. Ravenous Snakes is on Kindle, if you didn't realise that by now. So this is for Pride Book Tours, which is my first tour with them. You probably may guess by the name, it's focuses on LGBTQI representation tour, so it's all books by that representation. And this one I don't really know much about, and I'm going to just read the blurb because then you know, because I can't remember what it was about. I just liked the cover of it and thought, why not? So basically it says, being a teenager can be hard, especially if you're Kylie Catwell. She already has plenty of worries in her life: a father struggling with anorexia, a friend with an abusive stepfather, an ex-boyfriend who won't let their relationship go, and questioning her sexuality and new feelings for a best friend. And that's not even taking into consideration the struggles that just comes from growing up. Things suddenly take a strange turn when she sees a monster in the loft lake one morning. Finding that monster soon becomes an obsession, one that distracts her from the anxieties in her life. While she initially welcomes the distraction, Kylie soon has to decide if she is ready to face the struggles or ruin her relationships with her family and friends and the monster's strange magic forever. It sounds interesting. I like the fact that there is there's some bits about anorexia, which I have been through. You know, about sexuality and her feelings. There's abuse. There's sort of a lot of mental health representation in this too. I'm intrigued. The cover looks amazing. I'll see if I can yeah, I just like it. It's really bright. I like things. It just sounds like a very quick and easy book in my opinion, so I'm excited to read that. I also have a graphic novel which is Don't Let Me Go by Valero O'Connell. I'll put here. However, I'm not sure whether I'll be reading it or not, because trying to find this copy of graphic novel is become extremely difficult. So there is a website, but it's £14 and it's not a very long graphic novel, and I think that's a lot of money. So I'm going to see if I can find it elsewhere. If not, I probably may not be able to read it. But I'm putting it here just in case I do read it. But this is for a book club run by Spoopy Hole, who is a booktuber. I'll tag her stuff down there. And I don't know much about it. But yeah, now we're going to go into the Go Fish TBR and see what that's going to give me, and then we can see what all the other books I'm going to read. Right, I've shuffled all the cards. I've lost my hat, so I'm going to use this. I do want to add one thing. So I picked up number 1, which was the goldfish for March. I have now changed that prompt. So it's not the same prompt anymore. So every card that I pull out, I will then change the prompt for the next game, so then it won't be the same prompts all the time. Also, I've been very good and I read both of my books that I did for March, but I did realise that I hadn't done a punishment for if I don't finish those books. Obviously if it's a DNF it's different, but if I don't finish the books or I haven't gone round to reading them, I get a punishment. However, the only punishment I can think of is reading a book I DNF'd. However, one of my prompts on here is about a book that I was thinking about unhauling. So yeah, this is where you lot come in. Can you think for me of some punishments? Drop them down in the comments so that from like, you know, next month onwards, if I don't read the books that I have on my TBR for this game and I've not finished any of them or whatever, then I have to have a punishment. But we are going to wrap this around if it stays. Right, that's as close as I can do. Right, I'm going to go round in a circle and then pick a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have I got a card? I think I've got a card. Have I got a card? What have we got? 8, seahorse. I've gone extremely dizzy. I've gone really dizzy. Right, I'm going to do the prompt card first and then do the TBR jar because I realised my TBR jar's all the way over here. So we've got seahorse. So the prompt for seahorse is surprise! Okay, I like this one because surprise is, if I'm correct, yeah, a book that was gifted. Okay, that makes it really easy because I'm going to go for Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. I really wanted to read this. I have a video with me doing a book haul. I obviously explain about this book, but if you haven't watched it, basically this is like a crime thriller. You follow Nora, who has a nice normal life, normal neighbourhood, all of that. She goes to the bank and finds herself held at gunpoint alongside her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend. But what the gunpoint man does not realise is Nora isn't who she says she is. Basically, Nora has been Rebecca, Samantha, Hayley, Katie and Ashley, and she has come from a con artist background. Her mum is a con artist, a very big deal con artist, and Nora obviously has been in the scene and knows and has been one herself. My January wrap up, I actually talked about a book called Crooked Honest Criminality, which focuses on con artists. I fell in love with it, wanted to read more about con artists, saw this, so I'm going to be reading this. I don't care. That was actually, this was gifted to me. Yeah, this was gifted to me by Rebecca, and it was actually a surprise gift from this month's readathon, which I did in February and March, which is a 24-hour readathon that you do every month. And basically for February I won the prize for reading the most books in the 24 hours. Now none of us knew this was going to happen. It was a surprise. So I got Liz and Queen Gambits from them. So I'm going to be reading this because I've been dying to read it. Right, on to the 8 books of the TBR. Now count you down. Can you see? Probably not. Hang on. You can't see. We're just going to do it like this. We're not doing very well. So I'm going to pick 8 books out of here. I'm not going to do the first lot because I'm going to do this just because. Right, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we've picked 8. I don't know what they are. If they are a series and it's like the second book in the series and I've not read that series, it will be the first book. But okay, it's the +1 pact. Okay, I don't know whereabouts that book is. I'm going to have a look for that. Next is We Just Clicked. I've started reading that book and wasn't really vibing with it. The Reunion. I don't even know half of these books. I don't even know if I've still got these books. 3 Hours, which is on Kindle, and I know what that one is. That's a crime thriller, I think. Scandalously Yours. Okay, I'm excited about this one. This is a historical romance. We've got Let It Go. Okay, I'm gonna have to change that because I've already read this book, so we're gonna change that. So I'll do one more in a minute. Blackrock Bay. Oh, I know what this one is. Blackrock Bay is by one of my favourite authors. Okay, Daisy Jones and the Six. Gonna let it go over there. Whichever the one this one is. Okay, The Good Daughter. Alright, so I'm gonna go and find these books and then come back. Right, I found my books. It took me longer than I expected because I couldn't find one of them and I thought, oh my god, I've still got it. So there they are. So we got Scandalously Yours, which I'm really excited about. This is a historical romance. Absolutely love historical romance at the moment, especially after reading a few books by the Bridgerton series. So I'm really excited for that, and it's just like a little tiny book, but yeah, I'm excited and I know I'm going to breeze through this really quickly. We've got We Just Click. Now I have already read some of this. I think I got, actually I've still got it, I got up to page 17, but I wasn't sort of enjoying it. I was in the wrong moment, so I might either start from the start or just carry on from where I left it. But we got We Just Clicked. There seems to be a lot of romance here. The +1 Pact, which I think I got with my Christmas book advent calendar, I think. Can't remember what this was about. I think it's to do with about loads of invitations to weddings and they're not having a +1, so they make a pact with someone and maybe they fall in love, something like that. But we've got that. It's not long, and I do read romance really quickly, so I'm not going to have any issue with that. Then we got Daisy Jones and the Six. I've been meaning to read this for so long, so the fact that I finally get to read it, it will be interesting to see what I think of it, because there's a lot of people that love it and a lot of people that don't, so it'll be interesting to see where I am. But we got this, I'm excited. Then this is the book that it took me forever to find, The Reunion. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I thought, well, I wouldn't have put it in my TBR jar if I got rid of it. Turns out that it was actually all the way in the corner down here where I can't see because this is in front of it, but I found it. This is a crime thriller. It's in 2 different timelines. It's winter 1992 and then spring 2017. Don't know anything more about it, but it's a crime thriller. It's not long, and I read through these very quickly as well. Then we've got Blackrock Bay by my favourite author, one of my favourite authors should I say. It's by Brianna Lebuscus. I've read a lot of her books and loved them. She keeps you on your toes, let's just say. You'll never work out who it is because she keeps changing her mind. Again, I can't remember what this is about, but it's a crime thriller, and again, I love crime thrillers. And then lastly, to show you, we've got The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. This is going to be the first book I've ever read by her, but I'm intrigued. And it says one ran, one stayed, but who is the good daughter? So that's going to be interesting. And then on Kindle, we have got 3 Hours. I'm excited to read that. It's been on my mind for a while because I've seen it circling around Bookstagram for quite a bit now. So that will be interesting. Again, I think that's like a creepy thriller. And then obviously I've got the prompt book that I picked, which was Surprise, which was a book that you were kind of gifted. So I've chosen The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. So I've got a few romance books and a few crime thrillers. In all fairness, I can easily go through them quite well. So I'm quite happy about that because I don't think it's going to take me that long. Okay, I've got other books to do. And then this is what I have got overall, plus Kindles and any others that I add in here. So that is my April TBR. I also need to add, I've just remembered, one more book, because this was from my book challenge game. I can't believe I forgot it. I am not going to go and reach it because I can't be bothered. I'm just going to put the image here. Basically, if you didn't see, please check out the Quick to Judge a Book challenge and you will see what it's all about. But I ranked the highest book, which was Home Before Dark, so I'm going to be reading that on my April TBR too. I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, So that is my TBR. I'm actually really excited. There's a lot of books, I'm not going to lie, there are a lot of books, but I do read crime thrillers and romance very quickly, so I think this is going to be manageable. But anyway, please, like I said, can you drop down punishments for if I don't complete the game's TBR? Other than that, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!